Are we recording? What is up, everybody? Today we are talking best sports lenses for videography, and if you don't know who I am, my name is Denver Morris. I've been a videographer at K-State Athletics for the past 4 years, but since May of 22 last year, I've been doing my own thing, freelancing, working with brands, athletes, real estate, investors, etc., etc. First off, I want to get into a little bit about my story and how I got into athletics, who helped me out along the way, and then I want to give you some recommendations, like sites where these jobs do exist in the sports industry. And then the majority of this video is going to be spent covering what lenses are my favorite when I'm covering a sporting event. When I first seriously got into making videos, I was in high school just making videos with my GoPro that my parents got me. I was making videos for the assemblies. I was making videos for my golf team, summer recaps, senior year recaps, trip recaps, just with my GoPro. Kind of just being dumb, didn't think much of it back then, but now here we are. When it was getting closer to senior year, I didn't really know what I was wanting to major in. I liked working with numbers and decided on econ. After the initial orientation at K-State, I decided that was way too many math classes and econ classes for my liking. I was done with taking math. But anyway, since I've been doing all these GoPro videos and I kind of made home videos as kids with me and my buddies, I thought might as well see what the journalism school has in store for me. At K-State, they don't really have a film degree or anything that's specific in the video production unless you want to get into journalism. So I still majored in the journalism school, but it was under strategic communications, which is a mix of PR, branding, advertising, social media campaigns, etc., etc. Pretty much just all the writing skills that you need in the industry. But I knew I wanted to do something visually while I was learning the written stuff in school. Before I even got into campus, I got a job with K-State HDTV, which is essentially the in-house broadcast for all of the ESPN Plus events, video board production, broadcasting, anything of that degree. For my freshman year, I didn't really dive into work very much, still just kind of new to campus and stuff. Didn't really work a whole lot on the schedule, but once sophomore year came around, I started taking it a lot more seriously. I was pretty much working broadcast camera for every single game, whether it was courtside basketball, wireless camera for football games, you name it. I was pretty much on the schedule every single night. And eventually that led to me getting office hours. Thankfully, Johnny Douglas, who is a videographer with the Baltimore Orioles now, kind of took me under his wing, took me to some of his volleyball practices, and just kind of taught me everything he knew. And then from there, I was able to build my skill set after he left and everything. So yeah, I worked office hours for a year. This was a lot of video board editing, back-end social media editing for the players, getting into After Effects a little bit to create in-game promos for baseball and other sports. After working these office hours for about a year, I was assigned women's basketball, and so that meant I was creating everything from a recruiting, social media, video board, you name it, perspective. All the video requests came to me, whether it was from ESPN, NCAA, my boss, the coaches, the players. I was able to travel with the teams, film every game, and just make a lot of cool content. It was a ton of fun. I also helped out with a lot of social media content for football. Luckily, Emily Starkey was there and kind of took me under her wing, taught me a ton of stuff about TikTok, social media posting, publishing, curation. Basically, between those two sports, I was able to learn enough to go freelance, and now here I am. I also want to mention real quick, if you're looking for a job in the sports industry, here are a few sites that I think you should look into, mainly being Teamworks, School Sparks, the NCAA's website, obviously, and then Greensleeve. Greensleeve is more for NIL, but still a great platform if you want to get on it and make some extra cash while you're a student. Okay, now finally for the fun part of the video, I'm gonna go through my 4 favorite lenses for shooting sporting events. The first one is a 16-35 or any other wide lens that you can put on a gimbal. Mainly, I'd throw this on a camera before the game starts and get players walking through tunnels, running out videos, wide establishing shots of the stadium. That pretty much puts the fan or whoever's watching the video on the court, on the field, in the stands, wherever you may be. This is also great for vlogging as well. I'm actually shooting on this right now, but it's good to just give it to the players. They can just kind of, whether it's a media day or whatever the case may be, they can just pick up your camera on your Joby or tripod, whatever you have it on, and just kind of vlog with it. It's really fun. I really recommend putting a 16-35 on for any of those cases that I just mentioned. Next lens is the Nifty 50. I'm sure you hear this a lot, but this is also good for sports as well. It doubles as a nice video and photo lens first off. Second off, I would use this to get tight shots of players' faces during pregame. You can really see the sweat on their face. It's got good depth of field, adds a nice little bokeh. It's a really good lens, and I definitely recommend it if you're shooting pregame sports and have a little bit of time to get tight shots of players' faces, whatever the case may be. The third lens I'm going to recommend is the 70-200, 2.8 or 4.0. Sony or Canon, they're both really solid lenses, but this is what you're going to use for main game action. No matter the sport, this should be pretty much your go-to lens for shooting game action. Whether you're shooting football and you're across the field and still need to get tight on that quarterback or the wide receiver that's about to run a route, or if you're shooting basketball, you can go back to 70 millimeters and you can get both the defender and the player that has the ball, and then still in your peripheral, you can see other players that are cutting posting and stuff along that lines, maybe get reaction of the crowd in the back. However, the fourth lens I'm going to recommend is a 24-105, and this should be your go-to lens if you just have to pick one that I recommend. The widest it can go is 24, so that's perfect for pre-game and post-game, and the tightest it can go is 105, which essentially covers all the field, all the court at all times. I also use this for mic'd ups, media days, anything of that nature, because if you just have to pick one lens and you don't have time to swap back and forth, then just use the 24-105 because it can cover everything. So to recap, my favorite lenses when shooting sports is the 16-35 Sony G Master, 50mm 1.8 aperture, 70-200 Sony G Master as well. And then lastly, if you want to get a 24-105, I definitely recommend it, but if you have these three lenses, I think you're covered. Anyways, please let me know in the comments below if you have any more questions about sports videography, or if you want me to do more videos on this in the future. I'm sure I missed a lot of things, so please don't hesitate, drop a comment below, ask a question, and I'll be sure to answer it. I hope you guys are having a great day, and please subscribe below because I'm going to be posting a lot more on here in the future. So yeah, deuces.